Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to be continuing my restoration of Ed to get him roadworthy again. This started off as a few patches. So what I've done off camera between the last video and this one is, as you will see here, stripped the interior. I've not taken everything out. I've left the back seat base on and the dash. Basically I've taken away anything I thought from here would be a fire hazard, and anything else I'm going to be covering up with fireproof blankets. I'm taking no risks because you're going to have grinding sparks and you're going to have welding sparks, and yeah, it's safety first. So yeah, what I need to think about now is getting bracing put on. So I'm going to put some bracing on to keep this strength in before I do any cutting. I also need to consider where I'm putting the bracing because I'll need room to work and cut the floor out. So that's what I'm going to do just now. Okay, I've got some bracing on. Happy with the amount of bracing I've got. I wanted to put enough on, but I also didn't want to get in my own way. If I put any diagonal, it interferes with me then cutting the floor and things like that. So I've basically put one across here, because I'm also replacing the doorstep once I've done the floor. I've put one from the box section here over to the cross member there because I'm only replacing half the cross member, so it'll give a bit more structure that way. And I've put one between the two B posts. So yeah, I'm happy with that, access wise and strength wise. So I can now move on to getting some prep done on the actual floor itself. Don't know how well you pick that up, but very windy outside. So yeah, I'm going to get the floor set up and I'm going to show you what I've got and what I plan to do with the floor. Okay, what I've got here is a left-hand Heritage floor pan. Doesn't have the cross member, it's just the floor pan front to rear. So it's going to be a lot easier working here than it is once it's on the car. Got a few things I need to put on here. Brackets down here, prep, get all the edges ground back. But first I'm going to fill in these 5 drain plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done it with my last Mini. Found that they're a source of rot. The OEM bungs that go on, you melt it, the wax melts and it lets water in and traps water. That's what I found, what I've done so far. There are obviously out there that argue saying that water needs to get out of these things, but when that bung's in and you've got the under seal on, water's not getting out there anyway, so I prefer filling them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some 25mm discs, get the area prepped and basically get it welded in, and then there's no holes at all, apart from the couple here for the seat lock. And yeah, then I also need to look at brackets on the underside, but one thing at a time. Holes first. Safety first, cut the end of my finger. The metal on these discs is sharp. So, we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the first one done. I may need to tidy it up a slight bit and I'll need to check for pinprick holes. This is going to be covered on the top and the bottom. The top with a sound deadening and underneath with under seal. So my main priority is to get it hole free. So I'm going to go off camera and do the other 4, get them all tidied up, and when I'm in a position to come back and put the primer on, I'll jump back on the camera then. But yeah, that's 5 minutes worth of work, and as I've explained, I think it'll give this car a lot longer life doing this. Okay, this floor pan doesn't come with any of the brackets, so the first one I'm going to fit is the reinforcement bracket for the seatbelt. Basically it just goes over the hole here. So what I need to do is prep this. I'll get the paint off this side, paint off this side, paint off here, paint off the other side, because the plan is I'm going to spot weld it in place. Okay, once that's dry, and when I've got the other brackets on, I will be sealing this up with seam sealer, just so water can't get in and sit between the seals. But yeah, that'll do for that one. Okay, I'm back for another day, and it's freezing. It's -5 out there. I've got a small heater on, but it's absolutely freezing here, so I'm going to crack on with what I can just now. I just a few days ago got the seatbelt support bracket welded in. Since then I've had a few more parts arrive, and I'll show you what I've got. So I have a new half truss member, which will go roughly about there. I have a new sill jacking point. That's not Heritage, this is. I have two sill to outer sill support brackets. The most disappointing of all is this. This is an aftermarket repair. I'll see how it goes. It's obviously a Magnum panel. The quality is shocking. It's wafer thin. It's split already here, and it's just, yeah, it reminds me actually of the thinness of the rear repair for the boot floor. It's awful. So I'll see how it goes when I look at fitting it, but if I can recommend it against it, don't buy this. It's not, yeah, it's cheap, you're buying budget, but it's honestly, it's so thin, it's unbelievable. Problem being is you can't buy a repair panel for that in Heritage. You need to buy the full sill surround or the full near side panel. So I'll see what I can do when I get to that stage. That's not on the floor, that's in the kind of the doorstep outer sill stage. In this one I'm going to be focusing on this. So I'm not going to be fitting this on here. I did consider it because I can get easy access with a spot welder, but what I found when I done this here is it warps slightly because you're putting so much heat into it, and I don't want it warping so much that it makes it awkward to me then fitting on the car. So although it would be easier getting these spot welded on very quickly in place here, yeah, I'm not going to be doing it. I'll be doing it once the floor's fitted. Now I'll grab the small camera and I'll show you on the car where each one of these goes, and I'm also going to take measurements before I cut them out so that I know where the old ones went, and it gives me a reference point of where the new ones will be fitted. Okay, brackets when the floor is in place. You can see this one here. It's going to go on here. This is the reinforcement bracket, which you've seen the spot weld on. The jacking point, I may live to regret buying aftermarket. We'll see, it's hidden. It goes on there, on here. And the front, you can see the bracket here. Which is going to go on there. So yeah, I'm going to measure these to see, you can see they all line up with the bottom of the floor, but I'm going to measure how far they are from each other. Okay, it's time to start cutting out this floor. I feel like I've done as much prep as I can to the floor that's to go in. A few things I need to be wary of here. I'm replacing a half floor. I don't want to damage some of the adjoining panels, so the toe board I'm going to mark just short of where it joins on there, because once that's gone I can get in more access and I can hopefully get in and take the rest of that off without damaging the actual toe board. Likewise with the inner arch, although there is slight damage down here, so I kind of am assuming I'm going to have to do repairs as I'm going to the adjoining panels. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I'm going to mark just kind of along here just now. I'm not going to cut exactly where I want the new floor to join on yet, because I just want to get it out of the way so I can get more access to it. So I'll probably put the tape I've got here along in line with this last groove onto the back. I need to keep it clear from the heel board, so I'm not cutting into the heel board panel, although I do suspect I may have to replace that. So again, I'll cross that when I come to it. I'll put tape round the, try not to blind you because this new light I have is too bright. The companion bin, I'm going to put tape round here, and I'm going to keep the cutting away from it just now, because I don't want to have to replace the companion bin. This side I'll address once I get more of the floor out. I've got access I can get into here. The biggest thing I need to do first is separate I've got the fuel pipes, 3 fuel pipes for the single point injection running along this groove here. Now I did disconnect them earlier, so what I need to do is put something between those pipes and the floor to give them like probably about an inch distance, so that when I'm cutting through the floor I'm not cutting through the fuel pipe. And what I think I am going to do, back to the front, apologies, that's worse than staring at the sun, not literally, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'm going to focus on this area first. I'm going to cut out this. You've seen I have got a new cross member because there's nothing wrong with this, and I will try and save as much of it as I can, but I need to get underneath the floor, so it had to come out anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to focus, get this cut out. Well, I'll get it masked up, get this cut out, and then I'll focus, move the way to my back. Once I've got a rough cut out, I can then start to focus on getting the overlap panels all cleared. And it's just time consuming. It is very time consuming, but worth it. I'm also going to get things masked up that I don't want grind and splatter to go on, like the windows, any bits of interior left. So yeah, I'm not going to film it all. I'll possibly jump in and out, and I'll stick the small camera somewhere visible on time lapse just to give you an idea of how involved it is and how I've done it basically. Okay, that was me getting roughly the floor pan out. I managed to get round the fuel pipes, which was the trickiest bit. Under the seat base, access isn't great, that's why I had the small angle grinder and bend in various angles. So, the floor is out. That was the easy bit. The hard bit now is basically going and getting all the finer details out. Now I'm not going to do that on camera because it'll take me ages, and I'll probably not do it at one go. I'll chip away at it over the next few days. It's far too cold to spend any more time in here today, you can see, and this is me had the heaters on. So yeah, I'm going to chip away at this off camera. I'll go around once with the small camera, but when I'm at a stage I'm happy with and it's all cut away and I've probably uncovered more rot, I'll come back to you then. Thought I'd just jump in as I was doing some of the work. I'm about an hour and a half in. This is painstaking stuff, it really is. So it's just basically picking off the spot welds, grinding the spot welds and getting the metal off. So far the metal under here looks fairly decent. I've still to get round here and I've just basically to work my way up to however far I'm taking the floor. So I'll take it to about here just now. So that is positive underneath so far. You can see under here it's starting to rust, so I'll see if there's any further along. The back is a bit more concerning. See in here, I've taken this off because I've got the panel to go on and I needed access to get in. The floor inner sill is gone. This had surface rust on, so I've basically ground it back, but it's actually good. But I might have to take this off to get access because I've ground back some of the heel board and you can see here it's basically higher up than what I thought. Looking at the edge, it's quite rotten here, and if you can see in the middle, it appears to have had a budge at some point in its life. So to me it's had a new sill at some point and it's just had that budged in with nothing on the outside, which, yeah, it's starting to rot all the way along here. So I need to basically go and assess what I'm doing with this, how much I need to replace, because you can't just replace the heel board without taking this off, without disconnecting it from the subframe, and yeah, the can of worms has begun.